So Tony, one of the common questions a lot of people ask on the website is, when they're stuck at a plateau, or maybe they're a 40, 50 break player, and how to improve their game. I know it's a difficult question to answer because it's very individual, but there's some guiding principles that I think maybe you can shed some light on.
Well, I think it is a difficult question because a lot of players, if they have the ability to knock in a 40 or 50 break, certainly have the ability to knock in more than that. And we can get into a bit of a mental block at times where we reach a plateau of close to the higher break that we've had before and how to surpass that. I think it's kind of a point where once we realize that we're getting up around that number that makes us a little bit nervous, is we take that extra 10-15 seconds to step away from the table, reevaluate how the balls are sitting, not to get ahead of ourselves as far as what's available, and to refocus basically at a single ball at a time, keeping in mind what your focus is for the rest of the break, or during the available shots afterwards. But it is important to stay focused on the single ball that you're on. And I think with enough practice where those get into that range, that they remind themselves to try and stay focused on a singular ball, not to worry about the numbers. They'll take care of themselves. And if they can separate themselves a little bit from that, they'll see that their breaks begin to just move up from the 50 to the 60 to the 70. And then at that particular time, hopefully their confidence is going to build to a point that they know that that works, that you can't just take yourself outside of the position for numbers and try and stay focused on the singular shot that you're...
So you think it comes just naturally?
I think to some degree it does. Everybody's going to be a little bit different at times. The break in itself is unfortunate if it gets interrupted by the stress of a number that means something to us. I know that I went through a lot of it myself for a long time. There were a lot of times that I had a break that was building and it was looking good, especially if the reds got even more open near the end, and there was a possibility of the highest break I had ever had, or to get to 100 or whatever it be. It can get to us a little bit. But with enough practice being there, especially if you get on a table on your own and you practice break building, the more times that you get into that range yourself practicing, I think the more times you're going to be comfortable during a game situation of being able to continue.
What about seeing other players that are better?
How do you mean?
Or like if you're around good quality, like if you're seeing centuries knocked in every day, does that help you?
Absolutely. I think it becomes a lot more acceptable if you're around it all the time, if you're seeing it. I don't know if I would have to say if I watch century breaks on YouTube that's going to make the difference. I think a lot of times guys that play in our club, if they're having breaks that are fairly high, even into the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever it be, being around that environment is definitely a lot more encouraging. Feels a lot more real. And the other thing that helps is actually watching the ball patterns that they take, what shots they choose to take and when.
So let's actually talk about ball patterns. We'll set something up and maybe you can walk us mentally through what you see.
Sure.